This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Real stories, zero fluff, battle tested wisdom, straight from the mess to the deck plates. If you're tired of silence, the politicking, and leadership cliches, you're in the right place. Welcome to Culture Keeper. Welcome to the very first episode of the Culture Keeper podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Hardemon. This show was built for sailors like you, the ones who want to lead, want to grow, but feel stuck between mixed signals and unspoken expectations. I've been in your boots from E1 to E9. I've lived the tension between what they say and what actually works. And that's why Culture Keeper exists, to cut through the noise, to break the silence, and to give you leadership truth you can use right now, whether you wear anchors or not. So hit subscribe right there, lock in, and let's start keeping the culture one real conversation at a time. So when I first came in, I was an undesignated airman, and I noticed something very quick. I checked in same day as another sailor, but the first class talked to him a bit differently. Seemed as though they expected more from him, gave him training that I didn't get. And it seemed to me that he was being fast-tracked for qualifications, and I was kind of left on the sidelines to figure it out. So I pushed myself harder, not out of genuine motivation, but out of the need to prove that I was worthy. That was my first taste of bias and my first realization that leadership doesn't always show up the way it should. It didn't stop there. I remember sometime later being accused of something that I did not do. Another sailor had gotten caught out in those streets by the police. And they came back to the ship and said, "All right, I'm going down. I'm taking everybody down with me." And instead of leading me through it, my chain of command treated me and the other sailors that were accused like we were already guilty. They didn't protect me. They didn't advocate for me. They let silence and assumption carry the day. That crushed me. Not because of the accusation, but because the leaders I needed most refused to lead. That was a moment that I learned silence can be just as destructive as bad leadership. And then you fast forward and I check into my second ship. My DOCPO set me down and said, "I heard about what happened at your last ship. That was there. This is here. You have a clean slate." I can't explain the relief in that moment. For the first time, leadership wasn't weighing me down with the past. They gave me a fresh start, and they backed it up with action. They showed up with support, with accountability, with encouragement. They created the environment for me to thrive. And then that's when it clicked. Leaders can crush you with their silence, or they can create the space for you to grow. And that difference shapes careers. So here's a problem. There's a leadership gap between junior and senior sailors. We've been there. We've done that. We know the lessons, but too often there's silence instead of mentorship. In my experience, it's not because leaders don't care. It's because the bridge that once connected us has turned into a construction zone. Detours everywhere, random barriers, and no clear path across. And in terms of cultural silence in leadership, we know leaders know the truth, but don't always speak it. When they see mistakes, they don't always correct them. And when they've got stories that could guide you, they keep them locked inside. And that silence, it creates a vacuum, and sailors feel it. Confusion feels it, gossip feels it, distrust feels it. My hope is for Culture Keeper to be the rerouting, the charted course that gets us back on track, closing that distance and moving us closer to where we're supposed to be together. Now, let me be clear. The mess isn't a monolith. There are chiefs and senior leaders out there who mentor relentlessly. But when the bridge breaks down anywhere, sailors feel it everywhere. That's why Culture Keeper exists, to help rebuild those connections consistently. Now, I didn't build this podcast for me. I built it for Petty Officer Smith, who I imagine is, 3, 4 years in the Navy, standing watch, doing the job, but frustrated by inconsistent leadership. They feel overlooked, disconnected, like another body in rotation. Now, Smith doesn't need more checklists. Smith needs clarity, mentorship, purpose. And if you're listening right now thinking, that's me, then you're exactly who I built this for, because I've been where you are and I know what it feels like to want more. This is also for the new chief who doesn't want to become what they once presented, or for anyone who wants to lead differently and leave a mark that matters. So here's what you can expect every week: raw stories about leadership that shaped me, good and bad. Interviews with senior leaders pulling back the curtain on how they see growth and sailor development. Tactical breakdowns of Navy culture and tools you can apply immediately, and zero fluff leadership insight. This isn't a theory, it's deck plate truth. Respect driven, battle tested, no fluff. If you've ever felt like you were meant for more but didn't know where to start, hit subscribe. Share this with one sailor you believe in, because this isn't a podcast, it's a movement. So be on the lookout for episode 2, where I will unpack the leadership mistake that nearly broke me. You don't want to miss it. And if no one has told you today, let me be the first to say thank you for all you've done, all you do, and all that you will do. Until next time, keep the culture, lead on. Culture isn't just kept, it's shaped. Every sailor, every day. Keep the culture, lead on.